Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Kaylee Cuoco and Sam Claflin star in the MGM Plus original series, Vanished. When the man Alice loves disappears on a train to the south of France, every romantic memory becomes evidence. Every intimate detail, a potential threat. She thought she knew everything about him, but she may not even know his real name. 4-part thriller Vanished premieres February 1st on MGM Plus. Finding the truth is a dangerous affair.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, a literary podcast where we deep dive into the writing of your favorite novels.
This is Jack.
And I'm Amy.
And during this season of Book Club, we're stepping away on Thursdays to explore topics we've recently written about on the Subtext Society Journal.
This week, we're discussing Heated Rivalry and the heated discussion on whether it is emblematic of sapphic romance.
The Subtext Society Journal is a space for critical thinking and cultural reflection on the genres that are too often dismissed, including romance, romantasy, fanfiction, and the narratives that live rent-free in our hearts and minds.
We're creating a bridge between academic analysis and the everyday reading experience, between highbrow literary commentary and the deeply personal way books shape who we are.
We publish thoughtful essays from our readers, ourselves, and guest contributors that explore the moral questions, genre evolutions, and cultural conversations happening in real time.
We are redefining what deserves serious attention in publishing, and we're doing it with feeling.
But not style. The views expressed in this episode are entirely our own and in no way represent the larger opinion of the bookish community. This podcast is a discussion shared to spark thought and conversation. Readers and listeners are encouraged to share their own analysis and thoughts.
Explicit language, as well as themes of sex, violence, abuse, depression, self-harm, and death will recur throughout this podcast. Listener discretion is advised.
We got an interesting topic today. And I have a surprise for you at the end.
And a surprise.
I know.
For me?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
For us.
Okay.
For the listeners. I was proud of myself for not saying it last night when you came over.
Okay. I'm curious to see what it is.
But in the meantime, Heated Rivalry. If you are somehow listening to this and somehow live under a rock and have no idea what Heated Rivalry is, it is a gay hockey romance novel turned one of the best TV shows I have ever seen in my entire life.
It is, Heated is putting it mildly. It is spicy. Spicy in a soft core corn kind of way.
We could say porn. It's a podcast. We could say it.
Just in case we needed something for social media.
Yeah. Put a corn emoji over our mouth. But yes, it is raunchy as fuck. When I saw the first episode, I was like, well, it's going to fade to black. They're not going to show it. Boy, do they show it. The humping in this show knows no bounds. The moaning, the groaning, my God.
The male butt cheeks.
Ilya and Shane. So we're going to give a very brief summary again for anyone who somehow is listening to this and doesn't know the book/show. But Ilya is Russian. Shane is Canadian. We meet our protagonists right before their rookie year. They're kind of doing their little hockey pageant where everyone or, teams are like, I want that beauty queen. And instantly there's chemistry between the two of them. They're kind of like, they start watching each other. Is it chemistry? Is it competition? Only time will tell. And then rookie time happens. They're selected and there's a steamy competition gym moment where they're just both like, cycling, fingers brush. We don't know what's going to happen. And it progresses into a shower moment where Ilya's staring at Shane and starts jerking himself off while Shane is like, not here. Then proceeds years of illicit affairs, Taylor might say. Yeah. Years of hot ass sex. And, Shane's emotions develop. And then Ilya's emotions develop. And then Shane gets cold feet. And then Ilya's dealing with the fact that in Russia, things would not end up well for him. And then what happens to their future? Oh no. So look, we summarized it. We're spoiling it from here on out. That's my summary. Would you like to add anything? I covers it. A lot of Russians do not blush.
We've got like gay panic. We've got other characters who are coming out and how that impacts our main characters and their story.
I'm coming to the cottage.
Oh God, I love that line. Got Shane trying out other partners. We've got Ilya very actively with other partners. There's lots going on.
Yeah, it is interesting because this is actually the second book in the series. The first book is Scott Hunter, which is like one of the other, we get the third episode is about him, which I love how they did that.
Yeah.
He falls in love with a barista and his story ends essentially with him. Like, of course, they break up. There's, I'm sure, like a third act breakup in their own story because the boyfriend, Kip, is out. He's become a sugar baby, essentially, living the life. And then, but, Kip's like, I can't do this because I can't keep living closeted until you retire. Like, who knows how long that's going to be. And then Scott eventually comes out in front of everyone in the most romantic, epic way after winning the Stanley Cup. And, there's just different stories happening and different sexualities and exploring what it means to be queer, the degrees of queerdom, and, the impact that it has in career and in a toxic masculine setting.
And how does queerness impact how people view your masculinity?
Yeah. So what then came out of the conversation and what I thought to be very interesting is two things. One, a lot of straight men started watching the show. There is another podcast, Empty Netters, and it's just like three straight dudes who watch the whole thing together and they are like in it. Like they're crying. They're talking about their feelings. They're talking about how beautiful it is or how could Shane just back up because Shane was so caught up, man. It just, he's scared. He's scared, okay? Like, I mean, just the way that they talked about it was chef's kiss and fantastic. And not just him, but like many, many men on TikTok started watching the show and just ended up kind of being this fun, safe space for men to watch a romance that is male-centric. You now had representation of characters, these male characters, who are expressing their emotions, who are struggling, but they don't express it until like the very last episode. So they are struggling in a very male way where, it's covered with a bunch of fuck you, Ilya. Fuck you. Like that's like Shane's favorite thing.
Yeah,
fuck you, Ilya. And so there's so much male repressed emotions in the story that seeing men watch the show felt relieving because it was like, this is how women feel watching and reading romance that's just watching romance.
Yeah. It's a safe space for someone to have emotions.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought of while you were talking about how Shane's always like, fuck you, Ilya. They both call each other by their last names until like the second to last episode.
Yeah.
For the majority of the time that they know each other.
Rosenhoff, Hollander.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Just that, to me, demonstrates kind of the toxicity that they encounter in how these characters don't feel safe expressing themselves. And I mean, I'm projecting, right? But I imagine to see men who are portrayed as very masculine. They're very buff. They're, they might be considered straight passing in their community. For them to have emotion, not communicate that emotion, get scared, have emotion and be emotional about it, like want to cry. You can hear the emotion in their voice. That is, I hope, liberating for men to watch.
It's a form of representation for them.
Yeah.
For straight men. They are being represented in the sense of seeing, quote unquote, like you said, masculine men having emotions and expressing those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is obviously representation for the queer community. I don't want the straight community taking over something. But in a world where men sorely lack media that shows a safe space for expressing emotions, I think they should take what they should get. They should, while still supporting a queer space.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up because you sent me a TikTok from another podcaster, TikToker person who talks about the history of queerdom, especially in the United States, and how accessing emotions became taboo for men in the U.S. at a certain point in our history. Because, like this individual, Yesterqueers, I think is the name of the podcast, talked about, if you look at the Constitution of the United States, the Declaration of Independence, all these things are written very eloquently, very beautifully. And there's a history of male platonic relationships really being celebrated and full of emotion. Think about the capital R romance authors of the, in the United Kingdom and elsewhere. They're all men. They're all white men. There's a reason why we keep bemoaning the fact that all great, quote unquote, great literature is from dead white men.
Yeah.
It's because they were the only ones allowed to flourish and to express, because women were, quote unquote, hysterical. Women were not in touch with emotional intelligence. Men were in touch with emotional intelligence. And somewhere along the way, somebody decided that wasn't the case.
Yeah, but women still had to be hysterical. And it's like, what the fuck? Exactly. I think now we're starting to realize women have the emotional IQ where we're like, okay, we've gone to therapy. We've done some work.
Right.
I think part of that, though, is that they're all a little gay. I think all those men, all those poets were a little gay.
You know what? I think sexuality is a spectrum. I think everyone's got a little gay in them.
It is a spectrum. We talked about, not you, but me and this professor in the gender. Did I tell you I took a gender identity class?
Yeah,
it was a psychology. It was psychology specific and gender and queer identity. And it was here's the spectrum. Very rarely do you get someone that is hardcore gay or hardcore straight. Mm-hmm. There's a spectrum to it. Mm-hmm. And, like you said, we're all a little queer.
We're all a little queer. Look at one of our friends. She loves Jack's boobs. She is straight, but she loves those boobs. And you know what? There's a reason why boobs are great.
Oh, I thought you were going to say there's a reason why, because my boobs are great. Yeah.
Your boobs are fantastic.
We have many queer friends. We live in LA / I'm kind of the token straight.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one gay guy friend that we have, and he lives up the LA queer gay lifestyle. And he was telling me that there was one of his gay friends that was like, man, you should just eat out a girl sometimes. He was like, I have no desire to be with a woman. He was like, but just sucking on a clit is kind of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I mean,
he was like, but he doesn't want to be with a woman. He just thinks that eating out a woman occasionally is kind of fun.
Yeah. Which is the whole storyline of Nate's father in Euphoria. Anyway.
Yeah.
That just side note. But there are gay men who love boobs. And that's okay.
I'm a straight woman. I don't think I could. I mean, I made out with women. I've given it the college go. Literally, I was in college. But I also can see lesbian porn's hot. I get it. I understand. Seeing two women get together, it is hot. I am no better than a man when I see some of these videos on Instagram where all of a sudden, or TikTok, where a woman shows up and I'm like, my golly, but my gee golly gosh. I mean, Ruby Rose was my she could turn me until I saw her in person. I was like, oh, I would break her. She's so tiny.
This makes me think of a mask lesbian that I keep coming across on Instagram who says we'll do something and say good girl. And I'm like, oh, I need to send her videos to you.
Oh my. Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing where I'm not threatened by it, right? Like if I had ever come across a woman that did it for me, yeah, sure, I would have gone for it, And I think that it is more acceptable for women to make out with another woman, right? Like, I mean, when you go into history, right, it was more acceptable for two spinster women to have to find room and board together. And, less suspicion there than, two guys that are just two bachelors that love to spend all their time together. That's where the term they were just friends or they're just roommates comes up, right? But here we are in a world where it's more accepted. I'm not even going to pretend like the, queer community is remotely as accepted as they should be. But, I'm going to look at somewhere here like in LA, it's pretty darn accepted. And even within that, it's easier in college or in high school or in your 20s for women to be able to more publicly explore that, I would argue, in the sense that like you go to a party and two girls are making out, right? Granted, even then it's kind of sucks because they can only explore sexuality in a way that's meant to please men.
Exactly.
And not in a way to please themselves. So I take it all back. It all sucks.
Yeah. And there is, it's not like there's equality within the queer community.
Yeah.
And that we're going to get to in a little bit. But, women being together, especially at a young age, is for the male gaze. And at the end of the day, it's about most of our society, regardless of sexuality or gender, we are conditioned to view things through a male-centric lens.
Yeah.
Everything is about whether we know it or not. Because I struggle with my own internalized homophobia as a queer woman in a relationship getting married to a woman. Like it pops up every now and then. It is easier for me to see two men getting married than it is for me to see two women getting married.
Yep.
Anytime I see photos of two women in wedding dresses, I'm like, they look a little too much alike for this to be acceptable. And then I realize, oh, Amy, this is the patriarchy influencing your brain.
Grab a snack, stretch your legs, and listen to this while we plot our next move.
One of my financial goals for 2026 is to pay for my wedding completely with cash. No debt here.
Luckily, Monarch has you covered. Managing your money doesn't have to be a struggle this year, Amy.
Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life and my life easier.
It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts, and investments, net worth, and future planning together in one dashboard on your laptop or phone.
Start your new year on the right foot financially and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with the code BookTok.
Doing our taxes, Amy, made me realize how many subscriptions I didn't turn off, and I can't wait for Monarch to help me manage my money and subscriptions.
A lot of people may quit their New Year's resolution, but this year I don't have a choice. This wedding's happening. So I'm excited to use Monarch to help me make sure I achieve my goals.
Unlike most other personal finance apps, Monarch is built to make you proactive, not just reactive. Monarch has helped users save over $200 per month on average after joining.
8 out of 10 members feel more in control of their finances with Monarch.
This new year, achieve your financial goals for good. Monarch is the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long.
Use code BookTok at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with the code BookTok. BookTalk.
Been going on more first dates, Amy, and that means I need to be able to run the hell out of there if I need to while looking good.
It doesn't matter if you're there to enjoy or flee the date, the shoes make the outfit.
It's so true. And Bionic has been there with me for several dates at this point. And that's because not only are my Uptown sneakers so cute and so comfortable, but my very intelligent dress, Ramona, has been one of my go-to pumps for these dates because they're timeless. And again, I cannot stress enough, very comfortable.
And they're perfect for work, dinners, and any type of activity so that no matter the weather or what you're doing for your date, it always looks good.
I was at an arcade date last night and it was a lot of standing, so I was very comfortable.
That's because Bionic has their exclusive VO motion technology. It sets them apart because they began by revolutionizing medical orthotics. That science is in their shoes today.
They even offer a 30-day guarantee. Wear them, love them, or return them for a full refund within 30 days.
Use code BookTok at checkout for 15% off your entire order at VionicsShoes.com when you log into your account. Again, that's code BookTalk, BookTalk. It's a one-time use only, so don't squander it.
Vionic shoes, wearable well-being for your feet.
One of the things that was really hard to learn about banking as a young 20-something was how to avoid overdraft fees and building enough credit to actually have a credit card. There are so many ways Chime is making banking stress-free. They don't charge you fees for banking with them, and they provide you overdraft coverage. And on top of that, you can build credit without the worry about a regular credit card.
There's a reason why Chime is rated 5 stars by USA Today for customer service, because they offer real humans 24/7. I can't tell you the amount of times I have called my bank crying because I cannot stop talking to the robot who cannot help me.
I personally feel like every 20-something-year-old out there needs a Chime card. It's a great way to build credit history with your own money that you're actually earning, and you get rewarded every day.
And for those of us who might not be 20-something, still highly recommend it because of the no annual fees, no interest, no strings attached. And when you qualify for direct deposits, you get 1.5% cash back on eligible Chime card purchases. That's good for anyone.
It's good for everyone.
Chime is not just smarter banking. It is the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today.
It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/booktalk, BookTalk.
That's chime.com/booktalk.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/fees info. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
I firmly believe in new year, new me, and that requires a wardrobe change.
It's actually cold in California. I am so excited because Quince has all of our staples covered. From soft Mongolian cashmere sweaters that feel like designer pieces without the markup, to 100% silk tops and skirts for easy dressing up, to perfectly cut denims for everyday wear.
I purposefully gave my partner my wool coat so I can get a Quince Italian wool coat because they are gorgeous. They're beautifully tailored, they're soft to the touch, and they're built to last years, not just one season.
That's because the quality shows in every detail. You can seriously tell with the stitch, with the fit, with the fabric. Every piece is thoughtfully designed.
Like everything from Quince, each piece is made with premium materials in ethical, trusted factories, which I love. Each piece is priced far below the cost of other luxury brands.
Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365 days returns.
So, great transition. Let's talk about why is it that women have embraced watching two men, reading two men. I remember when I was in England getting my master's, that was the first time I had a friend who told me, she was like, oh yeah, I watch gay porn to get off. Like that's, it's hot. And I was like, what? And then there was a lot of girls there that did that. And I was like, that blew my mind. But then as the romance genre has grown, so has gay romance, specifically two men. And when Heated Rivalry, the TV show, came out, there was a lot of initial discourse of like, well, this is just for women and women are trying to encroach on the queer space. And so before we go into like the Heated Rivalry part, let's talk about how women find comfort in reading about two men. Even your partner like exclusively reads romance between two men.
And I did as a teenager as well. Like I read and wrote gay fan fiction for many years, and my partner still does. And I asked her about that. And for her, it was, she struggles with so much insecurity in her own body.
Yeah.
That the removal of the female body is a safer space for her. which I find super interesting. And as for someone who is like very religious, brought up very conservatively, very prudish, I would say similarly, it was much easier for me to read about men
Yeah.
than it was about someone who could have been me.
Yeah. I can't remember what my very first media that I consumed that was like with two men, that I was like a romance specifically, that wasn't like a TV show that happened to have a side plot, around these two characters. But like, this book is dedicated to, and I know for me, it's a more recent development where I'm consuming a lot more romance books that feature two men. And, this is where it's the range, right? Like, what is it that we find it to be safe? I know, like, when I read romance books, I love like a big, I'm such a scary guy turned into a softie for a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's like, double the burly, double the softie that I also really like. And there's a lot of different reasons why women consume gay specifically media.
I can't speak for all women. I can't speak with any sort of knowledge. However, my intuition says just the same way that women enjoy reading about men who give women what they want.
Yeah.
There's got to be at some level pleasure reading about two men learning to access and communicate emotions.
I mean, and I think that kind of does it for me. Like, I'm just kind of like, wow, look at this man who's a little hottie who is expressing himself. That, I mean, there is nothing hotter than Ilya Rozanov, who was this slutty man who becomes like falls hard for Shane, right? Like, there's just something about it that I eat it every time.
Yeah, I'm going to say something super controversial, but on this topic, to some extent, and this is, again, I'm going to speak from my personal viewpoint and perspective, we are fetishizing what the patriarchy has not given us.
Yeah.
Which is men in touch with their emotions, willing to talk about it, willing to express it. Because, at least in America, that's an absolute no-no.
I know. I'm happy you said it because I was leaning towards it too, where it's like we're maybe, again, this is it's such a broad spectrum. We do not speak for all women. This is just a generalized conversation, speaking amongst the only perspectives we have, which is Amy and I. But I agree that there's something to it about the patriarchy. Like, it's dismantling the patriarchy with men. So it's like even hotter because it's not just like women taking down the man, but it's the man taking down the man. And it is a safe space, right? Like, America is surrounded with rape culture. That is just women's pleasure. If a woman posts an image online, it is going like on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, with Grok, the AI image. Now there's starting to be a trend where if someone posts an image on Twitter, guys will ask Grok to make this image but show it with her naked or in a bikini. And any kind of thing that we do to women, we do to children.
Yeah.
You have to assume any kind of abuse and assault, is going to happen there. And sure enough, there's been people who've been requesting Grok to do that. And is Elon Musk doing a damn thing about it? Is the platform doing a fucking thing about it? No. And, people are like, well, you're posting this online. You're asking, it's public image. You're asking for this now, right?
Oh my God.
Women, unfortunately, and like women's embracing sexuality and anything to do with that, there is this larger culture within the United States and honestly globally as well that is surrounded by rape culture and violence against women. Having two men takes that out. Not that gay men do not experience violence. Not that is not a case. However, this intense culture that is surrounded about women asking for it, that is surrounded by women being in danger, you can't have like a story of a woman having a one-night stand with a guy without having that one line of, am I safe? You know what I mean? Have that there. In the case of Heated Rivalry, their biggest fear is, will this be exposed? Will this ruin my career? That is their biggest fear.
Yeah.
A woman's biggest fear is, am I going to get murdered?
Yeah.
Are they going to be assaulted in any other way? Like, that is women's biggest fear. And you can't have that. Like, you can't write a character and have a woman identifying with that character and have that not be even in the slightest bit of their head. But that is removed when you have two male characters.
Right.
Especially two masculine characters who play hockey and can throw a punch.
Right. Because if we were either character, if Shane was female and we're watching this show, we'd be like, you dumb bitch. Why are you going to this guy's hotel room without telling anybody?
I mean, Hockey is unfortunately, and I love hockey, it is so toxic. A couple years ago in the World Juniors for the Canadian team, there was a young girl that was taken back to the hotel and was assaulted by 4 or 5 men on the hockey team. It was graphic. It was horrible. They were making fun of her. They were doing things that and then afterwards they recorded her saying, you consented to all this, right? And, initially she consented to the one guy going up to his hotel room. Initially, like that was it, but she didn't ask for some of the things. Okay, we're going to bleep this out, but I'll tell you, Amy, it wasn't an assault in the sense that she said no, but it wasn't the horrible type of assault our brain goes to, but it was still assault. Mm-hmm. It was still against her will. And there was a huge trial last year and they were all found innocent. And some of them are back in the NHL.
Oh my God.
Granted, they're, getting some shit and stuff. And apparently some other players and other teams are kind of roughing them up as they go, as they're playing, which I'm like, yes, beat them up. But hockey culture is very toxic. Hockey culture surrounding women is very toxic. And like you said, when you said if Shane was a girl going back to Ilya's hotel, well, actually there was that girl who went back to a hockey player's hotel and she was assaulted and she went and she took it to trial and she lost. And that is all removed when the other person is a man on the other hockey team.
Right. And in that case, we are worried about Shane being spotted by his, teammate or Ilya's teammate and somebody asking questions. Or what if his mom finds out?
Yeah. That's his biggest fear.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Which is high stakes. I get it. But that is unfortunate. So I think there's something to be said about that freedom of consuming gay media. Now, here's where a very controversial thing came up. And I first saw this with Chani Nichols, who is an astrologer that Amy and I love. I love Chani. And I think she said something that is worth exploring, in my opinion. A lot of people were upset about it, and for valid reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Actually, let me read what she said specifically, because I found it to be interesting.
Yeah.
And when I first saw her post, I was like, actually, I can kind of see that. I can see what you're saying.
This person took a screenshot from Threads. Heated Rivalry is written by a queer ? Woman. It's sapphic, as Elise on TikTok pointed out, and that's why it's filled with smut and wholesomeness. That's why it is steeped in wholesomeness and care. That's why there's a possibility at the end, and parenting the whole way through something friendship at every turn. The patriarchal imagination could never.
And she's also referencing this other gay man on TikTok who posted it saying, this is a sapphic story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people were upset by it, understandably, because this is 2 men. This is gay in nature. Also, the author has not publicly said anything about her own sexuality. There's some speculation that she's bi or somewhere in the queer community, but, anything beyond that is pure assumption.
Yeah, the individual she's referring to, Evan Lazarus, who is a queer man, I don't disagree with what he's saying, but that might be his personal experience in the gay community, right? Yeah. When I read Chani's thread, because she is a woman married to a woman, I read that as her projecting her experience. I read that as she felt like this is representation for lesbian women who don't get media attention, because sapphic media does not get attention.
And I find that to be true. I find it to be true in the sense that, like you said, sapphic media does not get attention. There was another TikTok I sent you of a woman saying hey guys, we do have these books. Mm-hmm. You weren't there. Right. We do have these shows. You weren't there.
Right. Because there are straight women saying now, it would be so great if we had a heated rivalry between women.
It's there is. You're just not paying attention. So yes, Chani was absolutely probably projecting her own thoughts, but I also can understand what she's saying where it's well, yeah, there is something sapphic in nature about this. Now, then the counter is, well, you're assuming that gay men can't have, emotional ties or anything like that. Now, I'm going to say something, and who knows, maybe this is dumb, but I'm going to say in the tropes of books, I'm going to say this, not in the tropes of real life.
Mm-hmm.
what we see from the TV show is that Shane is only with one other partner, and that is his girlfriend that he can barely have sex with because he's not interested. And for almost 10 years, he's essentially pining for a man, and he is unable to be with anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
In the book trope world, I find that to be a very common thing that I see in book tropes, where you have the virginal woman who can't be with more than our MMC. Maybe they're with one other person and it just doesn't work that way. So in the book trope world, that is very common representation of the virginal FMC. And I saw that within Shane. And I can again, can see where this isn't quote unquote what we would assume from a gay man, only because this is, the virginal FMC, that was a clear cut and paste storyline for me.
Is it adhering to or subverting the female virginal trope? You could argue either way.
Yeah.
But it is inherently viewed as feminine because we in our society all agree that that's not how, even though it's not true, we assume that men aren't capable of that. We assume that men are not capable of having virginal attitudes about anything. Certainly there are men out there who are capable of it. But from a media perspective and the media we consume, do we ever see that?
So here's the other counter to it, right? Yes, gay men can have these deep emotional ties, can have these very, they're with their one partner forever. And that is absolutely true. To then ignore the other half of gay culture and understanding you can't ignore the other half of the conversation. I'm going to just call it for now the party culture. But I'm not saying that just because the party culture exists within the gay community gets rid of this other one. But Heated Rivalry did not show the other side of that culture. It only showed the romanticized. Now, party gay culture, very familiar with. Again, we live in LA. Again, we have very party gay friends. And imagine this. If for anyone who's not familiar with the culture, these party gay men are the epitome of everything that they get to be. They get to be as promiscuous as they want and not be judged within the community. They are safer than women, we would assume. Again, there's still sexual assault within it. I'm not going to take that away, but there is a much more,
there's a more laissez-faire attitude about the whole
attitude
thing.
within it. They get to just be the epitome of men, which is incredible. Good for them. I live for our friend's story. I'm every time I see him, I'm tell me about the latest sex party you went to. And it's oh yeah, so we went to there's this, I didn't even realize sex parties were so prominent in LA. That's my
until
naivety.
we heard his stories. I know.
Yeah, and I was what do you mean you just gave this man a hand job in the middle of the floor and in the dance floor and no one did anything? Or, it's incredible. I love hearing his stories.
Plot twist, it's an ad break, but we promise it is still canon.
This show is sponsored by Liquid IV.
Every single time when we say take a sip on the podcast, I am sipping my Liquid IV. This isn't even a joke. I love my Liquid IV so much because I am able to stay hydrated the entire time we are recording our 3-hour-long episodes.
Liquid IV is such an important part of my day. Jack and I have been working out, going to the gym, eating different for better health and body recomposition, and damn it, we drink a lot of water.
Liquid IV's hydration multiplier is a science-backed formula and contains an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients.
Liquid IV's hydration multiplier hydrates you with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, and it doesn't feel sickly sweet. It's always refreshing.
Plus, it's non-GMO, free from gluten, dairy, and soy. No artificial colors or sweeteners, and they have so many good flavors. Honestly, I'm obsessed with everything they do.
And just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than the water alone.
Rehydrate with better hydration from Liquid IV.
Tear, pour, and live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with the code BookTok at checkout.
That's 20% off your first order with code BookTok. That's BOOKTALK at liquidiv.com. Here's the thing about New Year's resolutions. Nearly 80% fail by February. And it's not because people lack willpower, it's because they lack data.
Things like leptin resistance, thyroid dysfunction, chronic inflammation, or hormone imbalances, these hidden issues can derail even your best efforts to get healthier or feel better when you realize what's going on.
This year, my focus is really getting my blood work in line, especially when it comes to heart health. That's been a big issue for me, and I know I need to go back and get tested in April. That's exactly why I chose Function. It's the only health platform giving you access to over 160 biomarkers, covering everything from hormones and metabolism to heart health, inflammation, stress markers, and toxins.
You can even add MRI and chest CT imaging, and it's all tracked in one secure place over time. It's the kind of comprehensive view of your health that most people never get to access.
There's a reason why top health leaders are all behind Function. When you stop guessing and start measuring, everything changes. Your health goals actually have a foundation to build on. So this year, don't rely on guesswork. Get your data, track what matters, and make resolutions based on your biology.
Own your health for $365 a year. That's $1 a day. Learn more and join using our link. Visit functionhealth.com/booktalk or use the code BookTalk25, that's BOOKTALK 25, for a $25 credit toward your membership.
You've got your hands full, but that doesn't mean you can't get a handle on your money at the same time. A people-first plan from a Northwestern Mutual financial advisor can help lighten the load. From diapers to diplomas and beyond, you'll know exactly what to do and when. It's the right time to feel less overwhelmed and more overjoyed. That's a better way to money. Let's get started at nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
But the other thing that I can't remember the name of it. Do you remember that, like, the gay movie that was kind of Pride and Prejudice-esque, and it was based off of that, like...
Oh, Fire Island?
Yeah, was it called Fire Island?
It's the one set in New York, modern.
I don't think it was in New York, but it's like on an island, and they go to this... Yeah, so at the end of it, I think it, like, there ends up being something like they both hook up with, like, different guys, and I was, like, talking to our friend about it. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes... That's so straight of you to think that they're going to just be with the one partner forever. And then that's when I found out that, like, it's actually super common for the gay community to be in committed relationships and have plenty of thirds.
Oh, yeah. I've heard many a story about my gay friend's gay landlord and his throuple situation with his boyfriend.
Yeah.
I also have to say, though, we're in LA. I don't know that that's the gay community everywhere.
Yes. Like, this gay community is going to be totally different than, like, I'm sure Indianapolis gay community. Or maybe I'm just judging Indianapolis. And it is kind of a thing. But, like, it has to be enough of a thing that they created Fire Island, the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't speak for the gay community. We don't pretend to know the entirety of it. I just feel like if you were to have media like Fire Island that had something that had, like, this romance story, but then incorporated this other aspect that is very popular within gay relationships, would women be able to handle it? You know, like, because that's the other thing, right? Like, we love Shane and Ilya because they pine for each other for years. And then, you know, at one point, Ilya stops having sex with other people and we're just sitting here swooning, right? Is that something, like, that is us now applying a very heteronormative lens into these characters? I got called out for it, where I was like, why aren't they together? And he was like, you're so hetero.
Yeah.
Like, and and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And, like, so we are putting these heteronormative stereotypes onto this queer relationship. But again, we don't want to say that it's impossible because clearly there are very committed, like, you know, monogamous relationships between gay men.
Right. And it's so complex.
Yeah.
Right. One of the other opinion reels or videos that we saw on TikTok was about how, you know, the showrunner for the show is a gay man.
Yep.
And so it's not like...
You didn't have a woman romanticizing it the entire way.
Right. I'm sure he put his own spin on things. But is he one of the gay men in a committed monogamous relationship for decades? I don't know. So, but I do think that there is something to say. And I've struggled with this myself as someone who both consumes and has written stories about gay men. Again, to what extent are we as women, regardless of our sexuality, fetishizing men And we're all accepting men as a conduit for what we cannot have or what we want to have in our own lives, right? And that's where I come back to what Chani posted on Threads and why I feel like there is some amount of projection. Because when you said to me the first time, I want to talk about Heated Rivalry and how this may be a sapphic story, I was like, oh my God, you're right. And there was someone else, people are like, well, what is sapphic? Because not everyone knows what sapphic is. Sapphic is a love story between two women based on the poet Sappho, who wrote about women in whatever time period, ancient Greece, the Renaissance, I can't remember. The point, though, is it analogy? Is it symbolism? Is it emblematic of a female relationship with a female woman?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, sapphic is any female or non-binary individual together. And look, I do think from a writing perspective, from a storytelling perspective, that Heated Rivalry has taken traditionally female tropes and applied them to these characters, which is why I can see the argument for this to be sapphic in nature. I can also see the argument where people are like, you are perpetuating the toxic masculinity of our society by saying that men are incapable of emotions.
Yeah. Two things can be true. Yeah.
I think, again, there's a lot of nuance to this. I think what ultimately at the end of the day we should be talking about is the fact that women don't read about sapphic relationships.
I'm mad at it and I'm happy you said it because I was going to say the problem here is that women, for whatever reason, cannot consume sapphic media. We're hungry for it. We don't realize we're hungry for it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there was so many people coming out like, I wish there was a female version of Heated Rivalry. Dude, you don't even have to look for books. That's just like women's sports. Like if you want that,
go to a women's basketball game.
Yeah. Oh my God. They're like, you have so much drama. They're like, oh, that's her ex-girlfriend. And then they're married. And you could just get that in reality. You don't even need to get media for it. But at the same time, why is it that we just meet? I mean, not you and I, clearly, we just finished. We're currently, you consume, you're writing sapphic. I'm reading sapphic. So not you and I, the larger we of the female community. What is it that y'all be struggling with here?
Look, we all struggle with internalized homophobia. We do.
And especially internalized misogyny.
And you couple that with internalized misogyny. Again, I am the first one to say, no offense to anybody. Anytime I see two blonde women in wedding dresses celebrating at their wedding, I'm like, really? And that's not because they shouldn't be together. It's because my brain is hardwired a certain way to judge that.
But would you feel the same way with seeing two blonde men? Because gay men are also known for dating men who look like themselves.
Exactly. I don't know the answer to that. And that's where I have to check my own bias at the door and the things that I was conditioned to think and believe.
Yeah.
It's okay that we struggle with these things. I think that we need to actively combat that struggle inside of ourselves, because there are really beautiful stories about women with non-binary individuals. One of the creators that we saw a video from, who I'm going to guess identifies as either a gay female or non-binary individual. And they were the ones saying, the author of Red, White, and Royal Blue wrote a follow-up about two women.
Yep.
Nobody read it. Nobody created a movie out of it. Yet everyone loves Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yep. What's our problem? One of the other things, we read and talked about a book last year, Chef's Kiss, and that involved a trans man, trans woman romance. And there was something about it that was the writing was great. It was really cute and sweet.
It was adorable.
The conversation and the complexity around it is something that I don't understand. And I really enjoyed reading it. And I really enjoyed letting my brain, a love story that's way more complex than what I would go through, right? I am a hetero woman. My love story is you mean you're not a dick bag? Thank God, you have some emotional intelligence. That's the peak of what I could do, right? And then, but when you add any kind of gay element, sapphic element, other queer elements, trans elements, right? Now the love story becomes more complex than I could understand. And I'm also like, good, I think we should challenge ourselves. I think we should absolutely be doing that. I think that a lot of this comes into, there's a lot of hard and fast statements rather than conversations. And I think that Channy, the other guy, maybe even some of the other TikToks of other people that were like hardcore, this is not sapphic, this is absolutely between two men, then it's like, you're not allowing the like, hey, what is sapphic about us? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's never going to be one answer. We are human. We are complex. We have issues that we're trying to unpack. There's never going to be one. Rather than coming in hard and fast, I really wish the conversation was just more of like, did we ever notice that it's like, here are these tropes that might be a little sapphic that we're putting onto this?
Not just sapphic, just feminine.
Just
feminine. It doesn't have to be sapphic. And it's not that men can't be feminine. It's the fact that I think people are hungry for a representation, but don't know how to accept that representation when it comes.
Yep. Do you have any other final words before I do a very awkward transition of your surprise?
No other words. Give me my surprise.
Okay. We have another fairy loot.
Woohoo!
That wasn't as exciting for you, was it?
No, I figured we were due for a fairy loot, but I have no idea what's in it.
Neither do I.
Exciting.
All right. Fairy loot. The first one is...
This is for December, correct?
Yes, the December. Our featured book this month is Cold Wire by Chloe Gong. In a fractured world where virtual reality offers humanity's only escape, two soldiers on opposing sides are bound by a conspiracy that could rewrite their reality.
Ooh.
Amy and I have been talking about doing some giveaways with these books. And if we do, it will probably be on our Patreon.
And honestly, it will be open to people who are not paid patrons. It will be open to free patrons as well. So
however,
keep an eye
it will
out.
be only US. It will be US only because Canada has some very difficult laws.
And we haven't figured out the rest of the world either.
Apparently, in Canada, they need to solve a math problem in order for a contest to happen.
It's a skills-based problem, right?
Yeah. So people tend to do like 2 + 2. I am very rarely do I say America got something right. Very rarely. And that's the one, giveaways. Let us give things away. Ooh.
Ooh, I love the look of that.
That's pretty.
Ooh, I love the look of that.
That's very pretty.
It's very like nightlife in Tokyo vibes.
Yeah.
Very cyberpunk.
Look at that.
It's very pretty.
Oh my goodness. That's a pretty one. Okay. Next. Oh, the theme was daggers and destiny. The book is Dawn of the Firebird by Sarah Mughal. With her heavenly magic, Camilla, the daughter of an overthrown emperor, infiltrates the enemy's army in order to reclaim her stolen throne. Caught between a brewing war and a dark power rising within her, she must decide whether to become the weapon they fear or the savior no one expects.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, this is another cool one. So yeah, we'll be doing giveaways. Free.
So, a couple things for all of our listeners, regardless of whether you are or are not currently on Patreon. So, first of all, we will be doing giveaways over the course of many months. Check it out. It is free to participate. You do not need to be a paid patron. However, if you are a paid patron, you get more entries. So, check out the details on our Patreon account.
And more exciting, $1 a month. You get reduced ads.
For $1 a month, you will have reduced ads for our back catalog and new episodes every week, which means all the ads added at the beginning of the episode and some in the middle that are not hard-baked. So they're called dynamic. If they're input by the system, those go away. The only ones that you will hear are the ones we put in ourselves because that episode specifically has been sponsored by specific brand.
So $1 a month, guys. That's all.
$1 a month. And, ooh, so pretty.
That's another really pretty one. Look at that.
That is gorgeous.
None of this is sponsored, guys. This is
us.
Us paying for this.
And what I love is it's representing authors who are not the Sarah J. Masses.
Yep.
Who
look at the author.
Are
this is
diverse
such a good
in nature.
author photo.
It's a very good photo.
That's
Their stories are diverse. It's so worth checking out. And I know that these subscriptions are hard to come by. I think I was on a waiting list for 2 years.
Yeah,
Just
the
barely
subscriptions
got
are
mine.
hard.
So we will be giving away many of these books because we know how hard it is to come by these books.
Yep. They're hard to come by. / look, two things can be true. We want you to join our Patreon. We're not even asking for you to pay for these, just to pay to be a patron. Just follow us there.
Yeah,
Please.
you can be a free member, and we do occasionally do lives for free members. So check it out. Participate in the giveaways. We will also be giving away some paid subscriptions.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out.
You get to listen to us reduced ads for free.
And maybe
Yeah.
even access to more lives for
Woo.
free.
Yeah. All right. Signing off. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps other readers find us. And of course, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's episode. Share your comments through our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com, and we might feature your feedback in a future mini episode or in a Patreon exclusive episode.
For merch and more ways to support the show, head to booktalkforbooktalk.com. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle BookTalk for BookTalk. And don't forget to join us by subscribing to the Subtext SocietyJournal.substack.com to get more insights into the romantasy and romance world.
Bye.
Bye.
One of the things that was really hard to learn about banking as a young 20-something was how to avoid overdraft fees and building enough credit to actually have a credit card. There are so many ways Chime is making banking stress-free. They don't charge you fees for banking with them, and they provide you overdraft coverage. And on top of that, you can build credit without the worry about a regular credit card.
There's a reason why Chime is rated 5 stars by USA Today for customer service, because they offer real humans 24/7. I can't tell you the amount of times I have called my bank crying because I cannot stop talking to the robot who cannot help me.
I personally feel like every 20-something-year-old out there needs a Chime card. It's a great way to build credit history with your own money that you're actually earning, and you get rewarded every day.
And for those of us who might not be 20-something, still highly recommend it because of the no annual fees, no interest, no strings attached. And when you qualify for direct deposits, you get 1.5% cash back on eligible Chime card purchases. That's good for anyone.
It's good for everyone.
Chime is not just smarter banking. It is the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today.
It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK.
That's chime.com/booktalk.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/fees info. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
I firmly believe in new year, new me, and that requires a wardrobe change.
It's actually cold in California. I am so excited because Quince has all of our staples covered. From soft Mongolian cashmere sweaters that feel like designer pieces without the markup, to 100% silk tops and skirts for easy dressing up, to perfectly cut denims for everyday wear.
I purposefully gave my partner my wool coat so I can get a Quince Italian wool coat because they are gorgeous. They're beautifully tailored, they're soft to the touch, and they're built to last years, not just one season.
That's because the quality shows in every detail. You can seriously tell with the stitch, with the fit, with the fabric. Every piece is thoughtfully designed.
Like everything from Quince, each piece is made with premium materials in ethical, trusted factories, which I love. Each piece is priced far below the cost of other luxury brands.
Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365 days returns.
Your Wish is Your Command is being called the greatest success book of all time, with over 100,000 five-star reviews.
I went from $5,000 on my bank account to $8 million.
My income doubled.
I was able to retire at the age of 31.
It reveals the missing key to the law of attraction. Your Wish is Your Command is now available on Amazon. Search Your Wish is Your Command on Amazon to get your copy today.